So, hi everyone, I am Rati Agarwal.
Hi, this is Harshita Gupta, and we are UI UX designers at GeekYants.
And today we'll be speaking about affordances and signifiers in UI design. As soon as we announced this topic, I've been hearing different interpretation of these terms, and people are curious that is it really related to design? So, we will be clearing what it is and how we actually see it every day in our normal day. So this is a term coined by Don Norman. He is the director of the design lab at University of California. He is best known for his books on design, especially the design of everyday things, from where these words are from. Don Norman says that when affordances are taken advantage of, the user knows what to do by just looking. No picture, label, or instruction is needed. For example, here we see a MacBook Pro, and this dent in the aluminium frame, the only irregularity in this plane, invites the user that they can place their finger and push, a gentle push can open it like a clamshell. So did we need a label or instruction here, or a picture says that you have to do in this way to open the laptop? No, we just thought that yeah, it could be possible. So this is here we have taken advantage of affordance. So if we summarize, affordance is a relationship between a user and a physical or digital object. If we talk about a physical object, a chair. So right now you are sitting on a chair because you think that it affords support, it affords sitting, right? And for different people, it could also afford lifting. You feel that okay, I can lift this chair as well. But if there is a person who is relatively weak, or children, they could not lift a chair like every chair. For them, the chair only affords sitting and not lifting. So affordability of the chair varied to the users, who the users are. So this is how it is a relationship. If we talk about UI design, that affordances in UI design are perceivable and actionable possibilities. In this example, we have an alarm interface, and these vertical lines shows that it is a vertical interface and we can use it for scrolling. If we want to put an alarm for 7:30, I will scroll it down to 7 and then 30. How we know that without any instruction that you have to scroll down to see further numbers? We know it, these users know these actions are possible based on their expectations and previous experiences, what they did come across before. So, yeah, if we speak the types of affordances, they are explicit, hidden, negative, and false. So, if we see explicit affordance, they are visible characteristics of an object that clearly indicates what actions are possible. In the example of MacBook Pro, it was also an explicit affordance because the characteristics of that laptop give that possible action idea to the users. But that's definitely not 100% accurate. The user guessed that, okay, I think it could open like a clamshell if we put a gentle push to that dent, right? Another example could be a rectangle which appears to be raised. When we see in our physical world, if anything is raised, we assume that it is pushable. We can push. That is why while we design a button, we often see shadow, or any way through that we make it look like it invites pushing. So here, next button feels like I just have to click next to go next. It's a button. It allows push. Then we have hidden affordance. These are hidden by default and become apparent only when certain condition has been met. Any idea? I'm talking about a hamburger menu. We can see it in YouTube that once we click on that hamburger menu, then only it reveals a set of options. But we all know that. We never wonder where the home is. We know that hamburger menu will lead us to the different set of options. So this is a hidden affordance. Then we have negative affordance. It is important to give users a signal that a UI element does not currently afford any capabilities, conveying a lack of function or interactivity. For example, here we have this form, but the button, the main CTA, create, is faded. And this gives the user an idea that it is disabled, it is interactive. You cannot do anything right now. You have to fill this entire form to create a user. So this is an example of negative affordance. Then we have false affordance. It looks like users should take a particular action, but users cannot perform it in reality. But why would somebody design a thing which is not possible in reality, but the user has to figure it out? Because that's mostly a mistake occurred due to lack of effective design techniques. For example, here we see there is a text decoration underline on anything you desire. Learn to create anything you desire. So this underlined text looks like a link but isn't a link. So this is a false affordance. When we design affordance, we should consider the varying abilities of our users. There could be different users with different possible actions. Their abilities can be different. So while designing affordance, we should study the right group of people and design the right features for those right group set of people. For example, if I had to design a news app, I would consider people with fewer hands in the kitchen, or someone who is carrying a baby, or someone who has it as a permanent circumstance in their life. And I would add a feature which could read the news aloud so that they can stay updated about what's happening around them without using their hands. But while affordance exists in design and is readily available, users sometimes not explicitly or clearly signal to interact with the screen. We see our parents or grandparents or even ourselves sometimes wondering what to do, how to do, where should I find that CTA, how to go there. So these things are, sometimes leads us to frustration and anger that we are unnecessarily slowed down to reach our goal. So how to solve this problem?
And that's where signifier steps in. Thank you, Rati. What is signifiers? Don Norman once said, good design requires, among other things, a good communication of the purpose, structure, and operation of the device to the people who use it. That is the role of signifiers. Let me take you through an example. Suppose you visited your friend's place and you're in the parking lot and there is no sign where to go, where the exit, where you have to park. What do you feel? You'll feel frustrated, right? And that's where signifiers adds on to the user experience. Rati gave you an example of chair, where chair afford to be sit, and for someone it's afford to be lift also. But what about if someone have put the hanky on it or maybe attach a balloon to it? What do you think? You will think that it is reserved for someone else and you won't sit on it. So it affords for someone else who have reserved it, but it signifies that you cannot use it. Therefore, it does not afford to be said by you. And a signifier is an additional piece of information that supports an affordance and communicate where the action should take place. Signifiers in UI design. Let's take an example of Flipkart. So you must, since it's a big billion day, you must have all have visited this Flipkart app. Yeah, I can see from the faces. So when you see on both the rows, if you see on this arrow and there's one arrow but there is no arrow this side, right? It signifies that you can scroll from the right side only, right? But in the second row you have the arrow both the side. It means that you can swipe it from the left also and from the right also. And this is where signifiers came. Designer use the signifier as a perceptual clue to make the user know where the task should happen. In this screen, you know that this is a CTA and it's have a capability to be pushed and it has a capability to be clicked on. But since it's in green shape, you know that it's inactive and you can't click on it. So it signifies that unless and until you fill your email address and password, you can't click on this sign in, right? Types of signifiers in UI design. The signifier in UI design generally categorized in 4 forms: icons, colors, text, and sound. Let me go with the first one, icon. Icons are generally graphical representations of the action based on similarity and appearance. Let's see an example. You must have all visited the Spotify app. So this is a website app. In this, there are so many icons which there is no direction like what they are used for, but still you know that this triangle with the circle on it, you know that it's a play button. How you know that? By the familiarity. You have used other apps, other website where you know that this is the play button. This heart shape, you know that when you click on it, this song will be added in your favorite list. It's not mentioned anywhere, but the icon represents due to the familiarity with the other apps. Same with this arrow button. You know this. You know that when you clicked on this one, you will move to the previous screen. But the next one, you can see that it's a green color, means it's inactive, and you can't click on it. In the left side of screenshot, you can see this loading icon. It does not return that it's loading or it's downloading, but still you know that your song is in the downloading process due to again the familiarity, and you have seen in other apps and website that this action is possible for this. Now if you want to close this pop-up, what you will do? Anyone can guess? Yeah, exactly. You know that the cross icon is for the closing the pop-up. Correct. The next one is color. Using primary, secondary and tertiary color or no color convey the importance of action. Designer use the color theory they use the various of color as secondary, tertiary to make the importance of action. So in this screen, which is totally black and white, can anyone tell me like what all our action are possible in this? You might have to figure out, and it will take more time for the action. But what if the screen was like this? You know that the primary action is add to the bag, and you know that this 10 is disabled, means you don't have a size of the shoe in the 10. The next is text. These signs are the arbitrary or conventional. So text are generally used in UI design with a combination of icons. When the icons are not familiar with the user, we use the text to convey more information. In the next example, okay, you guys must have visited Airbnb, and this is the header of this, the website. These icons, these icons are for different location and for different types of houses or hotels that user want to visit. So like if they don't have any text, then anyone can guess which icon represent what. You might take much time, but what if the screen was like this? Means it is like this actually. So they have this text which convey what are the main purpose of this icon and which screen they will take you through. And also on the first one, you can see this highlighter which say that what screen you are on. So these are the signifiers. The sound. So sounds are which is very recently added to our as a UI feature in most of the app. You must have used Google Assistant and Google Search. In Google Assistant and Google Search, like when you Google Search, you have this a microphone icon, and when you click on microphone icon, you have these 4 dots in color. But when you know that when you have to speak, when these dots start waving around, you know that you have to speak at that time. And this is a combination of visual and auditory visuals. So how to use the signifier best? Along with having a good knowledge of the design principle, always take care of these basic points. Always give clear indication. Familiarity is the key. Be aware of the false affordance and empathize with your user. So give clear indication. As a designer, you should always always give a clear indication that where the user have to tap, where they have to scroll upward, when they have to scroll left to right. Okay, familiarity is the key. You guys all must be using Instagram, Snapchat and WhatsApp. You and some may be using Behance for some inspiration. And you have seen one basic feature in all of them, that is stories. Does all the story feature in all the app look like same? Like circle, and when someone upload, they have this highlighted border in the picture in between. So Instagram started with this, and other apps carry forward. This is where they have used the Jacob's law. The familiarity is the key, and when you use the same thing in other app, you don't have to like think twice that what is the use of this thing. You already know this is a story. Be aware of the false affordance. Okay, we recently came up with this app, and can you tell what if I click on this, what screen it will take me to? what I first thought, what it will take me to a video call. But when I clicked on it, it was a help videos. So maybe, yeah, it doesn't take me to a video call. So so maybe as a designer, what I have made an icon or signifier which is more relevant to the help word, maybe a question mark or a red alert, something like. So this is like, be aware of the false affordance. Last but not the least, empathize. In the design form, what is the first thing we start with is the talking with the user, empathize with them, to know what they are thinking, and then make a list of what they want. So don't make something which is not relevant to your user. Don't use very tacky or very Gen Z type of icons for the person who can't perceive it, for the generation behind us. Affordance and signifiers together. Okay, this is a screenshot of one of the home appliance controlling app, and by this seat on this by this buttons, you know that it's afford to be clicked on. But what does this signify? The visual representation of the button. The light bulb icon tells you that it's a light bulb, and you can control the lights of the different rooms. And if it's on, you know that the bulb of that room has been on. The percentage to tell, and there is a percentage at 100%. But tell you how the bright of the bulb is. Okay. So at the end.
So by the end, we just want to emphasize on one thing, that in all, it is a relation between the object and the users, how the user perceives it. Here, it is a signifier, that tear here, but that's how the user
one of the user perceive it like tear here, the literal meaning. Yeah. So it's always depend on the user how they perceive it.
Yeah, that's
it.
Thank you
guys.
everyone.